Hello. What's up, Joe? Greetings from Blow Me Down Under. Or Blow Me Down. Sorry, Blow Me Down. There's no under in there. What's up, buddy? Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to the show, buddy. Anyone else? Welcome as well. It's Monday, and I'm here. So we're gonna talk about some stuff. There's a lot of things going on. Picked a few really good ones. I had a really cool thing happen to me, which made for a great story. So we're going to talk about that. But first off, we're going to talk about the LA fires and all that stuff. I mean, like, I don't have much good to say on that. It's pretty bad, awful when you see what's happening to these people that live in that area. Bad governance, bad luck with wind and bad weather conditions that are causing these fires. But so we're going to talk about all that and delve into it. Also, we're going to talk about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and his recent podcast. His recent whatever. He did Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm retarded. I can't talk right now, but he did that podcast. Didn't seem so robotic, which was cool. But I had an interesting thing happen to me when I was scrolling through Facebook. I'm not going to give anything away. We'll go over that, and I'll show you what happened because I took a video of it because it was kind of crazy. I've never seen this before as far as something directly on Facebook like that. I've heard of things. I'm not going to give too much. You'll see. So we'll go through that. Also, stupid Canadian politicians trying to pick trade war battles with the U.S. Nonsense. We'll go through that. And Trump has a new interest. Well, recycled interest second time around in Greenland, and we'll talk about that and what's up with that and why that's a thing. But before we do any of that, if you're watching, if you do check out the podcast and you're not yet a subscriber, do hit the subscribe. That it's free and it helps a small channel like this grow. If you like the channel, if you don't, well, there's a lot of other live shows that you can check out. Also, like, comment, get in the comments, say something Joe always does. Joe's in there with me. Robert's in there with me. Christopher's in there with me. So jump in there. They're very nice gents. They'll chat you up as well as myself. I'll talk to you as we go. And obviously engagement. Liking, sharing, all that kind of stuff. And if you missed the podcast, you want to see the podcast parts of it without actually going back and watching the whole thing. I haven't lately, but I do little skibbits of the podcast. I put them out during the week between Tuesday and Sunday at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time, and you can check them out then. Like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff on those as well. That helps with the engagement on the channel. Let me just switch over to, because I like this view better, but that side view there, I'm able to get a full-on view, but this is more comfortable for me. And we'll go right into the first thing. And what are you saying there, Joe? It's sad, but what they voted for. Yeah, I agree. They did vote for this. Bad policies in California are causing some of these problems. Let's go into it. So those wildfires are still going. I don't see an end for those for a little while, obviously, because there's just horrible conditions are causing them to just carry on. I'm going to read this article here, a little bit of it, not too much. It's this is the Independent. It's kind of a bit of a dumpster fire, but they're a UK article, so obviously they're going to be a little dumpster fiery. Let's see what they have to say. So LA fires live updates. Death toll jumps to 25 as winds return, increasing fears of explosive fire growth. Firefighters are bracing for the return of ferocious Santa Ana winds, which are expected to fan the flames of massive wildfires raging across Southern California as the death toll climbs to at least 25 people. National Weather Service warned of a particularly dangerous situation with critical to extreme fire weather conditions anticipated to develop into midweek. Well, these conditions that they're saying are not all just weather conditions. These are, a lot of it is inept government conditions, made by not clearing out vegetation, things like that. There's these large wooded areas, we'll say, forests, such, very close to residential districts, should be cleaned and cleared. This helps to not spread fires as quickly, but California has always been a problem for this. They don't seem to want to do anything about it, which is irritating as hell. Obviously, for anybody who's being affected directly by this, but it's just. And then this year, of course, this time they run out of water. I don't know how that happens. You live beside water. It seems that there should be some types of water pumping stations in some way to pump in ocean water. I don't know anything about this, so I'm not going to play like I know anything about this, the geological effects of that, or even the infrastructure that would be needed to set up that kind of thing. But I'm sure they could do it. A very people that are in need of something will find a way. So they're just not doing it. I think it's it's a shame to waste a disaster when you're a government like this. So that's part of the problem for these guys. And realistically, we've known that Newsom's been pretty inept since COVID. Maybe before. I don't even know how long he's been in government for. Realistically, before COVID, I didn't really pay attention to government very much. But now he's just going to try and play hero, of course, after the fact, with his some of his executive actions now to try and speed up rebuild. Suddenly, you can get around environmental conditions, that you couldn't before. It's funny. It was the whole San Francisco thing where they were able to clean up San Francisco really quick. So China didn't know how much of a dumpster fire it was. Same thing. It looks like they can get around all these EPA, environmental protection acts, and regulations and such to rebuild quickly. But it's good. It's good for politics when you're able to do that. What are you guys saying here? So California's still burning, Robert. It's still burning. Unfortunately, it's not funny. I'm not laughing at California. I feel very sad for the people there. I'm doing the wave thing again. Well, be with the wave, boys. My router's actually nowhere near me, so I don't know what's going on. Router's all the way over there. So something else is causing it, but maybe it's my phone. I'll move my phone. So I'm going to read a little bit more to this article. While peak winds will be weaker than they were last week, the agency said Monday that the combination of low relative humidity and 20 to 40 mile per hour offshore winds will support rapid fire growth and potential for extreme fire behavior. So it looks like this thing's just going to keep going on for a little while. It's got a lot to burn, a lot more homes, sadly. The agency's Los Angeles office said it anticipates gusts up to 70 miles per hour in mountainous regions of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. Gavin Newsom said firefighters and engines were pre-positioned around the region and warned residents to evacuate if they get the order to do so. Okay, so as of Monday morning, the fires have scorched more than 40,000 acres. Only 13% of the more than 23,000 acre Palisades fire has been contained. Wow. So there's still only 13%. And the Altadena and Pasadena is at 27% contained. So yeah, this is a long way from finished, unfortunately. If you live in that area, you're dealing with hell for a little while. This is going to be a hellscape, and sadly, there's not going to be a lot of end. And this inept government has stepped in now, a little after the fact. Hopefully, they can do something. They probably will. Realistically, that's what these politicians do. They just step in the 12th hour, and then they do something to make it look like they were in charge all along, when realistically we know they were inept for 11 and a half of those hours. Sorry, boys. You're just going to have to deal with my mic issues. I haven't heard it. Every time I do test, I don't hear it. So I don't know if it's a live thing going on, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Maybe I'll do a little phony live broadcast at one point and then test it and see what happens and then just delete it. Yeah. So, let me get on to the next thing here. This one's funny. This one has a little bit of a little something additional to it. You guys will see what I'm talking about here. So if you're watching Joe Rogan podcasts, you'll know that Mark Zuckerberg was on it just recently, and he was talking about changes to Facebook or Meta, whatever he likes to call it. Meta. He doesn't call it Facebook anymore. not cool, not trendy. So, now the hip new Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that does MMA, the guy that does jujitsu, the guy that's getting all jacked and stuff, he's no longer robotic. He's changing stuff up. So now they're getting rid of some of the stupid moderation that goes on, the fact checkers. Fact checkers. I'm a fact checker. I check facts. So he's getting rid of those. But he's opening up the door to other stuff, which you'll see. I'm gonna explain a little. I'll show you. I'm actually gonna show you. I released today. I don't know if you noticed. Anybody noticed that's watching? I released a short about what I encountered on Facebook just today. If you didn't, well, I'm gonna show it to you here anyway. So okay. So I'm gonna read this article just a little bit. This is Forbes. I like Forbes kinda. I think they're a little bit of a dumpster fire, but they're pretty good for most stuff. When it comes to politics, they're kind of awful. But here we go. Mark Zuckerberg changes direction on Facebook monitoring. On a journey of sorts, but where you'll end up is not always clear. The co-founder of Facebook, now Meta, has become a social media icon. He doesn't seem as reserved, measured, or rehearsed as he did in the past, which, again, is true. If you watched him on Joe Rogan's podcast, he seemed like a normal dude. I mean, albeit a little weird, but he is pretty smart, and pretty smart people are usually a little weird. Preferring a more trendy style and upbeat demeanor. In recent months, he has also ditched his traditional gray shirts for a more eclectic wardrobe. He seems to be ditching a lot of other things as well. Recently, Zuckerberg decided to abandon a fact-checking strategy used to monitor the Facebook app, where a content team pored over posts and made sure no one was spreading hate speech or causing a stir with misinformation. So he talks about this also on the podcast. He talks about how they kind of erred into this. They didn't, in real time, it's very hard to make these kinds of decisions and changes when you're dealing with, a platform that is, any given time could have billions of people using it and has something like, I don't know how many are real, but they boast to have something like 3.2 billion users on the platform. I would suggest that probably a third of that, or maybe 25% of that, is probably fake, bots and the like. But it may be lower than that. But either way, a lot of people to try and moderate and to try and fact check, and in real time especially. So he went through that. He talked about it pretty good, and he actually admitted completely that they erred on it. And he likes the X format with the community notes. So they're going to move in a direction now where they get away from the fact checking and more into the community notes or something like that. Obviously, they'll try and do something, proprietary to Meta or Facebook. They're not going to use community notes exactly as they are, right? So they're going to try and whatever community notes 2.0, let's say. So it was good. It was good that he's that he's acknowledged that, and he's not actually, trying to deny it. It was his comments were less robotic and political than he's been in the past, even before the last time he was on Joe Rogan. So he seems to be changing for the better, which is nice. What are you saying here, Joe? The clips from this were great. It was funny when Rogan called him out and they both shut up for a minute. Yeah, there was a little bit of that. Yeah, there was a little bit of that for sure. You could see the wheels turning a little bit, right? So he's got to be careful. I mean, anybody who doesn't, excuse me, anybody who doesn't understand the position that he's in, he has this multi-billion-dollar company that, he's the founder and CEO of, and, there's a lot of pressure with that, obviously, right? You've got to be careful what you say. I'm sure before he went on, he had lawyers, basically, debriefing him a little, saying what he could and couldn't say, maybe what he should and shouldn't talk about, things like that. And then he's got to be careful, and it's got to be kind of organic. He can't steer clear of things. Joe's going to press. He knows that. And, I'm sure Joe did that too. He curtailed himself a little bit to give him a little bit of a pass at times and stuff on things. He let him ramble on a little bit. He let him dodge around answers a little bit. But all in all, I thought he did a pretty good job, Zuckerberg, of not looking like he was doing that too much. And he explained himself at times where he was saying that, they've got to be kind of they got to be careful with what they do as far as moderation and and that kind of thing. And he seemed to admit basically that they were pushed by government. But what I didn't like, there was something that he didn't do. He kind of blaming the Biden administration prior to the Biden administration getting in. So the whole Hunter laptop thing, that was in October. So that was while the Trump administration was in. So there wasn't enough. I think that was a bit of a blind spot for Rogan, where he didn't press on that, or maybe they agreed not to press on it too much. I would have asked just flat out. I would have said, if you're blaming the Biden administration, but it's not the Biden administration that's in power at the time. So really, it's a deep state or it's some other actors that are doing that. Whether they're obviously pro Biden at that point and anti-Trump, but that's not to say that they're the Biden administration. So that's the whole thing. It's that deep state argument that kind of reinforces, right? So I hate fact checking. I will never figure out how we get along without it for 30 years. Yeah, no, that we got along. I mean, yeah, I have a fact checker always beside me when I say something. They go, "Oh, wait, no, that's dumb." It's called my girlfriend. So she's pretty good at it most of the time. That doesn't mean Biden's team didn't press him. No, I agree. But it's not. But that's what I'm saying about Biden's team. So Biden's team's not in power. That's the whole thing. I think it's people. If the FBI is doing it and such, they're reaching out to Meta or Facebook. At that time, they're not under the orders of any Biden administration. So they're obviously under the orders of some other shadow type government or whatever that we always hear about. That was my point. I wish he had kind of pressed on that a little bit, because I think he allowed Zuckerberg to just kind of get out of it to say that the Biden administration, just to kind of blame it like that. It's an easy scapegoat, and it's easy, just quick answer without delving into it too much. And I kind of wish they did that. But okay, so all that aside, good things for Facebook. Realistically, I can't argue it's good things for Facebook. But I'm going to show you this. This is funny. You'll get a kick out of this. So I was scrolling. I just happened to be scrolling through Facebook earlier today. Just sometimes I get ideas for the podcast, what I want to talk about, or I get little bits of information, just cultural stuff, what's going on, and I ran into something pretty neat that's related to what we're talking about here with like moderation and not fact checking, because the facts on this are pretty clear. But I'll play this for you. I'm not gonna bust this. I set this video up for you, so here we go. Okay, so this is me scrolling.
Dude, I've never looked at my kids' grades. I don't.
I didn't make this up. This came up. Of course, I blacked it out. I had to.
So I left my keys in the ignition.
I'm just gonna let that play through again. Okay, this is
Who's here to save the day?
Okay, restart now. Okay, there's a video here.
Dude, I've never looked at my kids'
video.
grades. I don't.
That video. And I could keep going back and forth and get it again.
So I left my keys in the
craziest thing about it.
Dead.
It was, I didn't expect that, because I thought, this must be some kind of error or something. There's no way that this slipped through Facebook's, net or whatever, right? Somehow it got through. But if you don't know what was going on there, I had to black it out because it was absolute full-on graphic. A woman with two fingers inserted, and she was expelling liquid. Yeah, and you could see it all. So I do have the unredacted version somewhere. So unbelievable! I couldn't believe it. Like, when you see something, you go, oh, "No, that's not real. That didn't happen." Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, "Nah." I thought for a second my phone got hacked or something. I was like, "God, somebody hacked me somehow." But nope. I scrolled back a bunch. I scrolled forward. I kept going back and forth just to see. Anybody else run into that before, where they see something X-rated that they should not have seen running through the scroll? What are you saying here? So, you want to explain what you're searching? No, that's so funny. My buddy said the exact same thing. I've never obviously searched for anything like that on Facebook. Why would I? Like you're going to find woman, orgasming on Facebook? Why would you ever search for that? You're never going to search for that. Maybe I thought it. Maybe Facebook's reading my thoughts. I don't know. But no, that was completely weird, random. That it just happened to pop up. Yeah, she basically, she peed. I mean, that's what happens when a squirt happens. It's just pee. There's no separate, pocket of water somewhere in there. Everybody thinks it's like, oh, there's this other magical liquid. Nope, just pee. So yeah, very weird, really weird stuff. But I couldn't help but think, wow, that's crazy that it somehow just snuck by the whatever moderation or quality control of Facebook. It was just very funny, very odd. So felt lucky. I felt lucky that it happened to me. It wasn't just something that I that anecdotally heard about. There is, but it's the creamy white juicer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's this separate thing. There's this separate sack somewhere. It's called the. It's right beside the G spot. Neither exist. Not the clear super soaker liquid. It's funny that you said that too. I wonder, are you still here, Robert? It's funny that you said that because my buddy said the exact same thing about what are you searching? I'm not searching anything. Scout's honor, I promise. I'm not searching anything on there. Weird. Just happened to come up. But yeah. Perfect timing too, considering I was going to talk about that on the podcast today. I thought, how weird is that? So I had to quickly figure out how to record something on your phone. Do a screen record. Didn't really know how to do that, so I had to figure it out. Then luckily I was able to get that done. And then I had to go into my Canva and then black it out, make sure that I didn't accidentally show any nudity there, but and then throw it out on the site as a short. So we'll see how that short does, but probably gonna get throttled back because of what it's talking about, but that's fine. All right. Anyways, okay. Let's go on to the next thing. It's quiet in there. Just you talking, Joe. Not as active as last time. So this story pissed me off. So we have stupid politicians up here in Canada. If anybody who watches the podcast knows that I'm Canadian, so this is not, this is in my backyard essentially. But this idiot Singh, he's the leader of the NDP party, not for long, hopefully. But he's very vocal right now on this idea that it's a good idea to start some kind of trade war with the U.S. based on these proposed tariffs. And now he's calling to stop exporting minerals and things that we trade with the U.S. Not smart. I'm going to read this article here, a little bit of it. Anyway, this is Global News, complete dumpster fire. It's one of our dumpster fire Canadian organizations, so bear with it. Canada must shut off critical minerals to U.S. to counter Trump, says this tool bag right here. If you've seen him before, he's an idiot trying to parade as some kind of political leader, but he's just a dumpster fire. The NDP wants to stop critical mineral exports to the United States in response to Donald Trump's threat of tariffs on Canada. Party leader Jagmeet Singh, Jagoff, said Monday, "I'm calling on all political leaders to support turning off the taps on those critical minerals. Let's stop the flow of those critical minerals into the States. There's no quicker way to get Donald Trump to back away from tariffs." Nice try, buddy. Yeah. This is what's funny to me. This is the joke. So Canadians, me, I represent Canada right now. Okay. I'll be the Canadian in the room. We're the very little brother of the very big brother to the south, right? So let's just say the big brother is like a 20-year-old jacked just tough guy, impenetrable skin, cannot be hurt. We're like a 6-year-old over here, and we're trying to attack him with a pencil. Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't. We should understand our role up here. For one, we're like a tenth of the population. Sure, we have a ton of land and minerals and resources and such, but we don't have anywhere near the economic might to withstand any kind of battle with the U.S. We don't have militaristically. We're not even in the same. I think one of probably Wyoming probably has more military might than Canada as a whole. So we can't do anything there. So why would we try and get in this kind of battle? This is stupid. It's so ridiculous. This is where, diplomacy comes in, not economic might or militaristic threats or any of this shit. This is our biggest trading neighbor right to the south. Talk to them. Just go and talk to them reasonably. Obviously, this is bullshit. These tariffs are bullshit. I've said it a number of times on the podcast. This is bullshit. It's just a flex. It's part of what he did it for was to get rid of Trudeau, which, mission accomplished. He's gone. So half of the reason to do it or more has been accomplished. The other half would be to open up pipelines and such. Get the energy trade going back to what it could be with the pipeline and such, right? So obviously these are the things. These are the reasons why he's doing that. Would you do that? I mean, it's in the best interest of both countries to do that. This whole idea that you're going to do some kind of trade war with the world dominant power to our south is just asinine. It's just galactically stupid. That's what these guys are. These guys are the dumbest people in the room, but they're our political leaders. It's infuriating to me because we give them a platform and we give them some power to be able to say this shit. Why is this guy even talking? You're the leader of a minority party that doesn't mean anything. You have to go with another party to get anything done whatsoever. If you can't even get anything done, realistically, you just have to kind of party up with them to piggyback on ideas that might work a little bit with your party. Just shut the fuck up. It's none of your business. Shut up. Just go away. We need to give this guy his pension and just be done with him because he's a complete friggin' tool bag. And he's just going to start more bullshit with the states. Stay out of. You're not part of this conversation, Jagmeet Singh. Shut the fuck up. Let the actual people that are in charge talk. Let the adults in the room talk. You just jump in your little Maserati or whatever the hell you have, and wait for your pension. Sit back. You're not going to do any work till the end of March anyway. So don't do anything. Shut up and go away. This guy's such a tool. Ugh. God, I hate this guy. Ugh, the passion. What are you guys saying over here? Welcome back to the chat there, Robert. Quite a lot of people here use Facebook. It's useful to find out local stuff. Yeah, I use Facebook too. Honestly, I don't know. It's just I just have. I guess I'm an old guy or whatever, and I was around when Facebook started, so it's hard for me to. I don't know. I don't scroll Instagram and stuff and. YouTube, I'll scroll YouTube and stuff, but YouTube's a little different. I go to YouTube for the stuff I like. Like you've maybe heard me talk about them before on the podcast, but the Y-Files, freaking great show. I love that. It's my favorite YouTube channel of all, bar none. The content on it is ridiculous. The guy's funny. It's great. It's just so good. Such a good channel. Really, what I should do if I really want to have a good channel is I should just copy everything he does. But I'm not that guy. And I don't think I could because he does it so well. But anyways, so I'll watch things like the Y-Files and other stuff that I like on there. Tim Pool and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, so I do use Facebook. I only know of about 10 people who use Facebook. Well, I'm one of those 10. Joe. Designer turbans. Yeah, Jagmeet with his designer turbans. God, he's such a tool. He's such an asshole. Just listen to him. He's got no business being in politics. I don't understand why he is. I mean, he's with the joke party, realistically. The NDPs they're just a joke of a party. It's really, we've become mostly a two-party system in Canada as well, where we've just got this little straggler that kicks around and gets a decent amount of the votes and then plays, plays with the minority government, whatever minority government's in power at the time. You just piggyback on shit that they like and form a little coalition, and then they can get shit done. So it's politics in Canada are kind of stupid. Yeah, our next prime minister? No, no, not at all. Wyoming has nukes and large important military bases. I would say Wyoming could take Canada itself. That's what I said. That's my point. You weren't listening, Joe. What the hell, man? Were you? You're probably away from the computer. But yeah, I would agree. I would think even maybe like North Dakota. They border Canada anyway. They just come up through our non-existent border there. I've crossed that border at North Dakota, and it was hilarious. It was just one guy in a little booth, and he wanted to chat my ear off. It was probably like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or something like that. I was coming up to go to Calgary, and this a while back, and yeah, he was just talking to me about all kinds of stuff. He talked my ear off for about 5-10 minutes, and I was thinking, I gotta go. Go. But that was the border security. You know, he was just getting a feel for me. Looks to me those tariffs are a done deal. Well, no, I think that, yeah. You mean done deal like squashed, or you don't think they're happening? And if they are happening, it'll be short term. It's just a negotiation tactic. They're not doing that. Free trade is alive and well between Canada and the U.S. We're big trading partners. We are the largest, basically unsecured border in the world. It's not happening. So, I think the smart people like Polyev are using this as like a little bit of a might flex to say, like they're using it as a show of power, but not really. He knows, like, this is just going to be a handshake, spit and handshake deal in a room, probably in Mar-a-Lago, maybe in the Oval Office, where they just say, all right, like, let's pretend we're going to do this. We'll, so you don't look like you were full of shit. Maybe you put tariffs on a couple stupid little things, and then we put a couple of tariffs on stupid little things or something. And it looks like, we were doing this, a little bit of battling, and, or they just say, nah, we came up with a good deal that works mutually, and then they back off. But either way, it's bullshit. It's not going to happen the way people are afraid that it is. The channel that I was talking about is the Y Files. Look it up, the Y Files. I did a couple, actually. I think I did a couple segments on the podcast about it. It was funny because the guy AJ that runs the channel, or the star of his own channel there, he actually commented on the first one I did, called me a good egg. So I was like, I'm a good egg. And yeah, I also what do I got here? I bought this. I got these cards. I've never actually opened them, but it's their Go Fish, Go Hecklefish cards. His little sidekick's it's a goldfish, Hecklefish. But anyways, go watch it. Trust me, you'll like it. It's fantastic. It's so well put together. Like I said, the quality is better than, it's as good, if not better than most TV shows. So it's really, really good. Reason why he's got so many subs. What are you saying here? I was listening. I was agreeing. Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you were, buddy. I'm sure you already know about the Y Files for sure, Joe. But Robert doesn't seem to. But you may have a shot at the Upper Peninsula. Nothing but hunting grounds and towns there. Listen, we'll take a little bit of ground. You're gonna have to concede a little bit of ground. You're gonna probably have to concede. I'll tell you what, we'll make some deals. We'll take Wisconsin and Minnesota because they're kind of useless anyway to you. Realistically, they're more Canadian than they are American. So we'll take those. We'll take good upper parts of Michigan because it probably should be ours anyway, realistically. And then you can take Ontario, Southern Ontario, and we'll give you we'll give you Quebec. How about that? You have all that. And maybe Alberta, actually, because Alberta is kind of like the U.S. anyway. So the border wouldn't be so insecure if someone told it that it was doing a good job every once in a while. That's funny, man. I need to get you here, buddy. I need to get you on camera or something. You gotta be like a little sidekick making jokes. That's funny, man. I didn't listen. All right. Sorry, Canadian U.S. border. You're doing a great job. You're so good. It's like real top-notch work there. And you're pretty too. No, Y files, like Y. WHY. Y files. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. No, that's where we get most of our dairy. Listen, we're kind of, you know what we are? We're like we're like stockpile for the U.S. It's like having somebody, stewarding your land. Like we're up here, we're stewarding your land for you. We're keeping the minerals safe. That's why you only allow us to have a certain amount of population. Because you're like, no. let's quell those Canadians. They're burgeoning. They're getting over 40 million up there. Woohoo. Let's get them down a little bit. Let's try and we don't want too many of them up there. It's going to be a little tougher to take our land when we need it. I've said it before, I think, on the podcast, but I have a buddy who lives in the States. He actually lives in Michigan. And he's got, I don't want to out him or anything, but he's got a ton of guns, all the same types of guns and stuff. And I've made the joke with him before, if the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm like, I'll store food for you, and I'll store different rations and things that you need, different supplies and such. And I go, and then we can trade for you can trade me a couple guns for that. And he goes, why would I trade you? I'll just take them. So that's basically what's going on with the States. You're just waiting. We're allowed. You're acting like we're in control up here. Like, let's let the Canadians think what they want up there. It's fine. But when it really comes push to shove, it's going to be no. We're coming up there and we're taking it now. So that's your whole independence thing. That's over. All right. Anyways, let me get in the last thing here. This one's kind of funny to me. So no doubt you've heard lately that Trump is talking a lot about Greenland. I mean, there was talk about it before, but back in his first presidency, and I think over the time there's been talk about it in the past. After World War II, there was talk about the U.S. going in and buying it or taking it over potentially. It's kind of in a strategic position, and that's one of the reasons why it's loaded with. It's kind of like Canada. It's loaded with minerals. It's loaded with all kinds of resources, right? It's a cold tundra of a climate, so realistically, there's not a lot of people up in there. So there's a number of reasons why the U.S. could want it. So this is not like a global expansionist thing. Like it's suddenly Trump is just trying to take over the world. It actually has some strategic. There's some strategic reasoning for taking this for the interest now in Greenland. I'm going to read this article. This is Reuters. It's Reuters actually. I kind of like these articles because they're short and concise and to the point. Don't particularly like their political leanings most of the time, but these guys aren't bad. Why does Trump want Greenland, and could he get it? So, greater control over Greenland could be useful to the United States for its strategic location and its resources. It lies along the shortest route from Europe to North America, vital for the U.S. ballistic missile warning system. So this is one of the reasons why, if you look at the way its position, its global position, it's actually like Alaska. It's very close. It's very close distance from Greenland to northern Russia. So there's obviously militaristic reasoning, strategic reasoning for having a stronghold there or having a strong U.S. presence there. And then obviously, like I said, resources big time. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said on Tuesday he wants to make mineral-rich, strategically placed Greenland a part of the United States. The United States has expressed interest in expanding its military presence, including placing radars there to monitor the waters between the island, Iceland, and Britain, which are a gateway for Russian Navy vessels and nuclear submarines. The island, whose capital, Nuuk, which is a funny name for it, is closer to New York than the Danish capital, Copenhagen, boasts mineral, oil, and natural gas wealth, but development has been slow. So part of the development issues. So here's the whole kind of thing with Greenland. there's never been a problem. Greenland's never really given too much of a problem with foreign. And okay, so they're owned essentially by the Danes, by Denmark, and there's never really been a problem with like U.S. troops being there or even mining going on there or that kind of thing. The only problems that they've had is with the indigenous culture or the indigenous people there. Same thing that's going on kind of in northern Ontario or in northern Canada, where the indigenous people there are stopping mining expeditions, things like that, mostly with like access to these locations. Probably the same thing going on in Greenland as far as like access to, because realistically they don't have land claims necessarily, but you might have to go through like indigenous land or something like that to get to it. And that's where these problems stem from, is stopping that kind of thing. So it's not necessarily like it's not that the Denmark or the Greenland, but Denmark really. It's not like their government's saying, no, you can't go in there and mine, or you can't go in there and set up military bases and such. It's just there's a lot of red tape when it comes to that. So I think what Trump is hoping to do, or with this whole thing, is to take control of it. Then they can get rid of any of that red tape. They can kind of just go in there, do what they want necessarily. They're not going to have to worry about, sadly, I mean, they're not going to have to worry about indigenous people and their land rights or claims or that kind of thing. So that's my guess anyway. I don't have anything to say that's 100% what it is, but that's what it would seem to be. 2023 survey showed that 25 of 34 minerals deemed critical raw materials by the European Commission were found in Greenland. They include materials used in batteries such as graphite and lithium, and so-called rare earth materials used in electric vehicles and wind turbines. It shouldn't be that much of a problem under a Trump administration, because I don't think he really cares much about electric vehicles and wind turbines. Definitely not wind turbines. Greenland has banned extraction of oil and natural gas for environmental reasons, and development of its mining sector has been snarled in red tape and opposition from indigenous people. There you go. This has kept Greenland's economy reliant on fishing, which accounts for over 95% of exports, and annual subsidies from Denmark, which cover roughly half of the public budget in total. Denmark spends just under $1 billion each year on Greenland, or 17,500 for each of its 57,000 residents. Imagine that, 57,000 residents. We have towns that have more people. Like literally, the city I live in has 10 times that. So how hilarious. The whole of Greenland has 57,000 residents. Seems a pretty big place for 57,000 people. I don't see how they're posing such a problem for mining, extraction of oil and natural gas and such. But again, that's probably the play. Realistically, that's the play, to get Denmark out of there. And I mean, it seems that the Greenland people have wanted Denmark kind of out of there for a while. They kind of want to establish their own government, which seems silly to me. Of 57,000 people on a giant landmass, you should probably just allow the U.S. to go in there, and it's probably better for the people there. It's going to make them a little richer, I would think. Same with like what's going on with Alaska, right? Where there's like a share to all the people. It's basically a welfare state anyway, right? So there's a share to all the people for what what do you call it? For any money that's made on mining or extraction of minerals and the like, right? So this is it's just funny that it's coming up now, and I think they're making a big deal about this because they want to make it look like Trump is this whatever, this bully, this like the idiot Jagmar was saying about Jagmeet Singh is saying about Russia or Trump being a bully. Same sort of thing. It's like the media wants to make out Trump to be like this bully, and he's going around now. He's going to take over and annex Greenland. It's a bigger story than it needs to be. I think it's been in talks for a while. It doesn't really affect much of anything as far as like the Greenland people. They're not going to be really affected by this. In fact, they're probably going to be affected to the net positive. But it's just going to be a sensationalized story to try and push the narrative that Trump's a big bully on the economic or the global stage. He'll get it. Yeah, he might. So he's in here. Yeah, I know you're down to be on the podcast with me, buddy. I'll have to figure out again. I have to figure out something where I can do something with Zoom or whatever, or one of the things I can get you on. I'll figure it out. I'll work on it one of these one of the days this week or something. I'll let you know how it comes. But we'll get it done. Even you, Robert, if you want to get on, I'll figure out a way to get you guys so you can actually, be in the podcast instead of on the instead of on the chat. Then I can actually talk, and we can talk instead of me responding to your comments a little after the fact. So that'll get Trump's attention on the tariff issue. Yeah, the minerals are not so accessible as they appear to be. Yeah, well, it's in ice, so yeah, they're a little bit. I mean, but they can do anything. They can, of course, they can get at them. And again, the accessibility is related to Danish government at this point. Like, come on, like, whatever, and the Greenland people, they wouldn't even notice. There's 57,000 of them on a landmass bigger than Alaska. You can hide drills, I think there's a real possibility that Trump could get Greenland. I would put it at a 40 to 60 chance that he'll get it, maybe 30, 70. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's good for all parties. I don't think Denmark really cares to keep it that much. I think it's just something that they just deal with. It's like I said, it's kind of a welfare state. They pay for it's socialized medicine and the like, just like we are in Canada. So there's a cost to each Denmark citizen for that, and there's not a lot of export going out of Greenland. Fish, I mean, realistically, what are they doing there? They're not. If it's a net loss of $1 billion a year, basically for Denmark, I don't see why they care. So just if they're not gonna mine it, just give it to the U.S. There's no way in hell the U.S. would let China or Russia get in there, so it has to be the U.S. Like, they'll fight tooth and nail for that. There's no way they just wouldn't allow that, rightly so. So it would have to be the U.S. or nobody. It's U.S. or bust, basically. Greenland women attractive? I don't know. I would think Greenland women would look like Inuits. That would be my guess. Or like Icelandic women, maybe. But Icelandic women are pretty attractive. They can be, at least. I reckon he's serious about GL in Canada. Yeah, because if so, I could populate it by 10. It's a 10 factor, buddy. You get busy. It's cold up there, man. You might shoot like cold blanks. Anyway, it looked like a washerwomen, I mean. Yeah, I don't want to say anything disparaging. Not a big fan of the Inuit-looking peoples, but that's just my take on it. I'm sure there are different strokes for different folks. They lost a nuke reactor in the ice up there. Is that true? That'd be kind of crazy. I thought Greenland was a white country, but I know nothing about the place. Yeah, well, it's like Canada, like our Northwest Territories or something. The same thing, same type of people up there, right? Yeah, it's continent. It is a continent. It's a continent and a country, technically. It's like Australia, right? But it's actually not even. Is it? No, it's not even a continent. It's because it's part of a continent. It's part of the Arctic, right? So it's technically not a continent to itself. Telegram. No, I don't actually, but I'll look into Telegram for sure. William Seward. No, I haven't. Oh, wait. Why does that name sounds familiar when I read it? But not offhand. I don't know who it is. William Wallace. I know William Wallace too. Yeah, and there probably is a few pretty ones up in there. Let's be real. They're hiding. They're hiding in the ice. There's 57,000 people. The chances of a couple pretty ones being up there are decent, I would think. I don't know. What do I know? All right, let me just switch back over to the full view, because I don't need the browser up anymore. All right, well, we're at 50 minutes, and yeah, I got a buddy coming by to grab something from me soon, so I told him after the podcast. So I'll get off now and look into the Telegram thing for you, Joe. Yeah, they did purchase Alaska, so purchasing, and yeah, that was a stupid sale by Canada. We're still living that one, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, well, thanks guys. Again, Joe, Robert, thanks for being with me, buddies. It's always better when you're here. It's I just get right to the point when you're not. At least I get a couple giggles when Joe makes jokes. He's picking up drugs. Not sure what you mean there. Trump's doing a Seward, protecting the flanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're saying now. Yeah, for sure. Well, Greenland's a big flank, right? That's what I was talking about. If you look at it on the map, it's crazy that it's not actually a Canadian or U.S. territory. I think it's the fact that it's Denmark. It's like it's safe, right? So there's no worries about it. It's basically a neutral country that is stewarding it essentially. So I thought we sold it. I thought Canada sold Alaska. Wasn't it Canada that sold Alaska? Thank you. I have to fact check you on that one. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I thought it was Canada that sold it. Anyways, okay, that's it for me, guys. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna skeety daddle. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with me, guys. If you are watching or have watched or do watch and you're not yet a subscriber, do hit the subscribe. I don't know why you haven't yet. If you are watching and you do watch, that's just a dick move. But yeah, hit the subscribe. Share, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Help out the small channel by engaging with it. That's the best way to help a channel like this. Otherwise, it goes to the coffers to die. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care. I do this on the side, so I don't need to make any money. So if you don't like me, too bad. I've been doing this for like 2.5 years, so I'm here. But yeah, but if you do like it, best way to support it is that way. Look for small. I'm gonna drop a couple of the segments in smaller doses during the week between Tuesday and Sunday. I'm not sure exactly when I'll drop them, but look for them at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And share, like, comment, all that kind of stuff on those. Again, help the channel out. And look for me again next week, 7 o'clock Eastern, for the live broadcast. Joe, Robert, myself, maybe Christopher, some new people, who knows. We'll all be here, and you can chat it up with us and see what we're up to. Other than that, thanks, guys. What are you saying here? You got a lot. You're talking. Jeez. Nope, Russia. Okay, I'm wrong. My history boy. Ta. Adios, boys. Everyone else, see you next week, 7 o'clock. And take care. Until then.